And I don't have my phone. Oh, hello.
And I don't have my phone. Well, that's kind of par for the course. I mean, everything is kind of convoluted. Well, extremely strange. Let's just put it that way. It's been rocky since the total lunar eclipse. I mean, we could just look in the outside world and see the news and see what's going on in our own personal lives. It's just, whew. Well, let's see. We got Barbara and Leah. Good to see you.
Hello, ladies.
Blessings to you, Leah.
I don't have my phone,
Vir-
so I can't watch along.
Virgo is beating me up too, honey, and I understand how Mary Thornberry had Rossi. It's just okay. So what's 29 degrees Virgo? It wants to. I mean, you're purging, purification. There is, and this is years. I didn't realize how deep this eclipse season was until I started going through it this last couple weeks. And well, actually, prior to that, and we've been going through it, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to clear. This is a Virgo clearing, but it is deep, 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 deep. Go
I
ahead.
just saw the first drop down for one of my lives. That's the first time I've ever seen it.
And see,
I'm
and
so
then and,
excited.
yeah, and then there's good things like that, right? Like, because we release and then we receive. It's
Yeah.
a constant cycle in the universe, right? But a lot is coming up that, I mean, I didn't see coming. And I do want to honor my brother. He passed last week on the 23rd from a heart attack. And I love you, Nick, and I
It's,
always will.
it's a moment, that's for sure.
So, like, there's unexpected, things on top of your personal things, on top of your friend stuff and your family stuff, right? it's it's been a week, and we're all going through it, and we're all going through it together, and we have our community, and that's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
um, that if Diana and I went through all this astrology, we would be here till midnight, maybe later. So I just want you to just take a look at, and there's so many aspects going on. Okay, we have Mars, the Sun, and the Moon at 29 degrees. Mars is 29 Libra, so overnight Mars is going to enter Scorpio, and I want to give you all a heads up about that because it's going to get spicier out in the world. You
Well,
know,
right. I want to show everybody this. I isolated the kite. I'm going to show it to you upside down so you can see it. It's an amazing,
it is beautiful.
isn't this beautiful geometry? Just look at
Mhm.
this geometry, right? So we have a grand trine in air
Two
with the
seconds.
kite, with the release points at Saturn and Neptune. But we have this yod. You see the yod coming up through the center there?
I do.
It's kind of a greeny. I tried to do it in green to make it more noticeable because it was in red. And there's another quincunx that is going from Pluto over to Venus, which is not part of that yod. However, Pluto is part of the other yod. So it is just this. It's better for us to keep our mouths shut
Yes, ma'am.
because one minute you might feel really good and the next minute the rug got pulled out from underneath.
Yes.
And that is basically as beautiful as this geometry is because it's so symmetrical. If I hadn't shown that other quincunx between Pluto and Venus, that centerpiece right there would not be there, right?
Right.
So it would have been equal. Now, this was this way on the 18th, but it didn't just let up on the 19th. It continued because we have the moon at play in here, which moves rapidly, and then Venus made a step, and then Mercury made a step. So basically, even though we've got all of this crazy looking stuff in the sky right now, it's still basically the same shape. The yacht is in there. There are just other planets have become the players.
And there's two yachts. There's one pointing to that Mars at 29, and there's one pointing at Venus that just entered Virgo. Okay, so what does Venus in Virgo want? She wants to clean it out and get everything organized and get everything, clean and and this is, I want to say this about this 29-degree Virgo new moon partial solar eclipse. What is being eclipsed is that perfectionism, that critical perfectionism in us. That's the lowest frequency of Virgo, right? So that's gotta, we gotta get good with just being who we are, how we are. There isn't any perfection, because I don't know if a lot of you have done this, but I've held myself back from not having all my ducks lined up in a row, right? And it just never happens. You just got to go up and face it, But
right? Just go take a look in my bedroom. That's where the teenager lives. And you know what? I can sleep in that chaos.
Oh my God.
It's just because it's like I have to sleep like the Princess and the Pea. I'm of a certain age and I've got to do certain things because y'all know about my other boo-boos. And so why make my bed every day? Nobody's going to see that room but me and the dogs. So,
yeah. Me either.
Right?
I'm the same way. I mean, I'll throw the blanket over it, but that's about as far as I go. But anyway, I did clean today while I was doing my release ceremony, because that release ceremony for me, and if you guys haven't done that and you feel like that would help you in whatever respect that might work in your life, because something's coming up to release. And as you give yourself that time and space to honor the past, I mean, we're going back, God, I would at least go back to 2020 for this one, because this is really the last serious aspect until we get into eclipse season in February. And that's going to be a lot different energy. But right now,
well, yeah, because it'll be in Pisces.
In Aquarius, I thought. Aquarius and
Sun will be in Pisces for the one in February.
I think, yeah, they're both in there. I got to look at it. I haven't gotten that far. I did go out a year from now, and things do look a lot calmer because all those outer planets are going direct. They've made some movement, but we're not there yet. All the outer planets are retrograde. Jupiter's about to go retrograde, where we have that new moon was opposing Saturn and Neptune, so they're all retrograde, and they're just those retrogrades are giving us time to review everything. But everything, it's like, because they're all in retrograde and everything's moving so fast, everything's coming up for a review, like where, you'll know what's lighting up in your life. But that Mars going into Scorpio, the last time he went in Scorpio, and I'm not trying to say this for fear, but that's when Israel attacked Hamas.
And that's his home sign.
Palestine, right?
That's his home sign.
Mm-hmm.
He rules.
But, yeah, and
he rules the night from Scorpio.
I honestly thought, though, that was going to be like regurgitated. You know how he brings it all up, but it's taking time. That is going to happen soon, hopefully, where that war starts, that abuse, that genocide starts. Let's say what it is, but stops. But that's very spicy. We're already in this really spicy energy. It's already volatile, especially out in the world. Um, I, if I'm by myself, everything's pretty calm, you know. But that affects us all, you know, and it's in the atmosphere. They just keep pumping in stuff. We got lots of people joining us, Diana. We got
Awesome.
hi, Mr. Floyd's Universe. Hello, Deborah Zakow.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
Hello, Sherry Voices from the Swamp. Good to see you. Pamela Anderson. Oh my goodness, good to see you. Let's see, who am I missing? I don't want to miss anybody. Barbara, good to see you. Jen B. And Mary Thornberry. Okay, let me get back down. You guys know I'm slow here. Fatima, good to see you. Blessings and love to everybody. Uh, Hypnicity's here. Good to see you. Leah. Okay. Lance, Lakeside, Laura. Nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you before. Nice to thank you and welcome for coming in. It does like, whew, everybody's energy gets together and it just feels so.
Oops. What? Say that again. Yes, our energies. If you've noticed it today, it's a scratchy, itchy day. It's been that way. The Schumann resonance is crazy. I just saw a pattern on the solar flares. I've never seen anything. They're just ribbons, but they're crisscrossing like DNA as the DNA coils, right? But they're running across this way at the bottom of the sun. Pretty much, well, they crisscross each other. But when you look at the bottom of the background here and the upper picture behind us, that is very similar to what the flares were like coming off the sun today. And then I hope she'll be back. And then we have this big energy of the equinox, which is really tomorrow, and the sun moving into Leo tomorrow. But we've also got this energy where there's 3 days of equal time, equal daylight to equal nighttime. It's hard to tell the difference because there is the ebbing in, the moment of, and then the ebbing away. And it's a slow process. It's 1 degree a day for the sun. So we have to just realize that though it may feel a little more balanced, grab hold of that stick to keep you that way. And this is where we start to look again at the nodes, because the nodes are responsible for where the eclipses fall. And the nodes are in Pisces and Virgo. So that's why I say it's still going to be in Pisces when we have the next eclipse. The second round of eclipses that come in the summer months are going to be shifted into Aquarius and Leo, because the nodes shift. And I know I looked this up and now the date has escaped my mind. But when those nodes shift, then everything's going to shift with the sun and where to mark the eclipses. So we have another fancy thing in the sky that's called an iron yod. And it's really not, it's squares, where a yod is a quincunx. It's not a hammer of Thor, though it looks very much like it. A hammer of Thor is an odd shape, but an odd triangle, like a sailboat. This is even like a yod would be. And so what that is going to do is make it this kind of energy that's going to continue. We're going to get a break on this probably around the 25th of September. So when we get to that day, it'll be that kite is still going. It is still continuing. And there are parts of it that make it look like, you know, the old dreidels where you spin the top, right? And that's like, okay, where's it going to fall? What's it going to fall on? What part of this game am I going to win, or am I going to lose this time? And so it's better to just keep our mouths shut again, right? Mercury is in Libra, but he just entered it. And so it is a slow process for him in this first moment of entering the sign. He'll pick up speed after a day or two. Let's see. We have Mars at 29 degrees. Oh, today he's at 5 degrees. I'm sorry. He just went in on the 18th. I was looking at another chart earlier today. So he went in on the 18th. Now he's at 5 degrees. We have Mars at 29 degrees of Libra, but Mars is going back into his favorite sign of the night. That's where his first home was. Now he is co-ruler with Pluto. Well, Mars and Pluto are going to be having these squares, and they're having squares is like they're whispering under the table. Let's pretend. Let's make them think we're fighting. But in reality, we're just reestablishing our barriers and boundaries and strength, and she can't get back in. The internet keeps going out for her. She should, if you can hear me, probably not, shut it off completely and reboot it. Anyway, with that having been said, we have the air train that's not going to really break up until about the 27th, just planets going back and forth, which gives us a more comfortable, because it's a trine, right? And it's a big trine. All of the signs involved are in air, but it also will have the top of the kite as well. And in that, if we do get into trouble, because there's going to be, it's air, so we know there's going to be a lot of talk, and there's going to be a lot of fake news, and there's going to be a lot of clickbait, right? So don't fall prey to that. The top of the kite is going to be at Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Aries, right? So they're close enough to be considered to be conjunct. And that is the release point in a kite. It's the very little top of the kite, right? And when you're doing tricks with it and you let up and you start pulling it because you want to pull it in, that's the release point. You can see it tip back and tip forward as you're doing things. Lets the air foil around it. So with those top of kites, this is terrible. I can't see the chat. When we're in it, we do have to be aware that this will be smoother sailing as long as we don't listen to the mouths of the fake news people. And now everybody's throwing that same bait around, quick bait on all sides, and it's just getting so annoying. So annoying. Uranus is a big player through this. Uranus is that big charge, right? She's at 1 degree of Gemini, conjunct Sedna. Everybody, this is a release point. It's a release point because it is equinox, because it's a solstice. You know what I mean? An eclipse. Anyway, but Sedna is all about release and adaptation. What do we have to let go of? Now that's in the transit sky. So look at your Sedna. Where is your Sedna? And what house is it in? What sign is it in? That will help you figure it out. Mine happens to be in Aries. So now I have support with Gemini because that makes it a sextile. The fact that Sedna's in there. But mine's at like 24 degrees of Aries. So it's older, right? So It's not close enough to have any kind of an aspect to it because there's things in between. They can't really see each other. But knowing that it's about the release and adaptation, it can pertain especially to health, because when you think of Sedna's story, her father chopped off her fingers and her toes, and she could sink and die, or she can sink and adapt, and she became the queen of the sea. And her appendages all became the all the animals and creatures of the sea and the grasses and everything that's under there. And she's the ruler. And did she forgive her father? Well, in some of the legends, they say her father comes once a year to the shore. She has agreed to see him once a year, and she'll come and see him once a year on the shore's edge. So he relented after he did what he did, but it was too late. She was gone. He couldn't bring her back. So in that, Uranus is going over there showing you time and time again. And Uranus being retrograde isn't going to go that far. I think it goes as far as like 27 degrees back into Taurus. And that is, again, a fixed sign. Uranus is a planet that is a fixed planet. And it's like, this is getting it right. This is really taking a look, really about being honest with yourself. And I wish I could see the chat. I'm so sorry I can't, and I don't have my phone. So what else do I need to tell you? We have, tomorrow there is this, where's my cheat sheet for tomorrow's dates? There it is. The other aspects of tomorrow is Mars going into Scorpio, the equinox itself, and the sun going into Leo. And then we have the sun also being in opposition. And on the 23rd, it will be an exact opposition to Neptune. And with that Neptune, it is, I said Leo, didn't I? Into Libra. With that Neptune, is she burning up the water? Is he sputtering and trying to burn out her fire? But then she's going to egress and get a little bit farther and a little bit farther through that Leo and really look more at being opposite Neptune. So the 23rd, she's opposite Neptune and Saturn. But then as she moves on, she's going to get closer to that Saturn in Aries and then be opposite Saturn. And now what? Now it is, they know how to find their own polar balance, but they're both leaders and they both want to take control. And Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars just went into Scorpio. And so we have all of these dynamics. That is, where do we go? What do we do? How do we get there? What do we believe? What do we watch? What do we listen to? What do we read? Where do we shop? How do we save money? Because it just keeps getting worse and worse. And so there's all of that going on as well. I'm afraid I'm boring you guys to tears. Oh, and then we have a nice aspect coming up on the 24th also, with the sun trining Pluto and trining Uranus. And that's part of the air trine. But then we have Mars squaring Pluto. And so even if you feel comfortable, it's like sometimes you just got to unplug and stick to yourself, that it's better that way. I don't know if I'm really even talking to anybody anymore. This is almost comical. How long can I tread water, right? So I can't ask questions of you. And because of the energies that are out there, because this is an eclipse, because this is about letting go and finding a way to soothe ourselves, heal ourselves, and honestly accept with ourselves what it is we need to do. I'm going to sign us off, and I'm going to give you all opportunity to go and do your own release rituals if you haven't already done it. Don't forget, cinnamon in the door, bring yourself some good luck. And if you got too many bills, blow some cinnamon out the back door. And I love you all, and I'm sorry that this night has gone the way it has, but then it's an eclipse. And my dog just scared me with her little bark. Blessings to everybody. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.